are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. And today, once again, it is the Tony and Barnes Show. Anthony, how are you?
Happy Monday, Brian. I'm doing pretty well on this gloomy, doomy type of Monday.
Yes, happy Monday is right. And the weekend that was, so much to talk about. And of course, we have to start with the 150th Open Championship from St. Andrews. And Tony even was watching the final round a little bit. Really was just a great tournament. Really, down to the last second, who would win, who would hoist the claret jug. And at the end of the day, Cameron Smith wins the 150th Open Championship. And it was in dramatic fashion and kind of just a synopsis, of the weekend. And since we were last here on Friday, well, first, Tiger, of course, misses the cut, goes 9 over for those 2 days. And, walked quickly past the bridge. So, it looked like he's saying, and even said he plans to play in future Opens, just not sure in the 7 years that it'll be there again, that he'll still be playing. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But I know he's going to take this time to really ramp up and just put a better performance out there, because clearly he was not at his best this weekend. So, going into yesterday, we had Rory McIlroy and Victor Hovland, both tied at 16 under par, with Cam Smith and Cam Young behind them. But the leaderboard was flipped. And you look at Rory, so he finishes third here, and just another close, tough finish. You look at his rounds collectively, he goes 66 on Thursday, 68 on Friday, 66 on Saturday, and a 2 under 70 yesterday. But it was just not enough, because Cameron Smith, who went 67 on Thursday, 64 on Friday, 73, on Saturday, but finishes it up with a 64 to give him a one-shot lead over Cameron Young, who was in position actually to finish third, but he eagles 18, to take him from 17 under par to 19 under par, one shot ahead of Rory here. So he shoots a 65 yesterday. So really just an exciting weekend. A lot of big names, hovering near the leaderboard. And, we had a couple live golfers in Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau finished 6th and 8th respectively. So obviously they were near the top of the leaderboard, but just a very weird feeling with those guys, just weren't showing on TV that much and just, weren't in press conferences. So just totally a different feel. And one thing that stood out to me is, and I don't know if you saw this, Tony, but in his press conference after the Open Championship win, Cam Smith, they asked him, about live golf. And he just said, I can't believe you're asking me about that right now. I'll let my representatives take care of that. So, which is a, denial. But then I just saw something on Twitter, and he said, he's looking forward to the FedEx Cup playoffs. So I don't know if it's like he just wants to finish off this season and then defect, or I guess I just don't understand. I don't know if the only thing I could think of is if he has no plans to go to live, the only reason why he would answer that question that way is because he was that annoyed and just wanted to enjoy the moment. But it just is obviously easy enough to just say no. You know what I mean? So that's why it kind of comes into question.
Yeah, I would say it sounds like, there's almost maybe a underlying feeling of guilt that maybe he's thinking about it.
Yeah. And I think, but like I said, I think because, he's had, a tremendous, season here because he did win the Players Championship in March. I think the purse for that was like a PGA Tour record, $6.5 million. So obviously a big tournament. And then to win the last major of the year, obviously, he has a lot of points in terms of the FedEx Cup. So I think that might be why, he's going to kind of make his decision after, or it could be like some of the golfers who, aren't really talking about this too much. And they're kind of waiting to see how things play out. But obviously, a guy like Cameron Smith, so impressive with that putter. Really can make a putt from anywhere, and obviously just a consistency in his game. Generally speaking, and a younger golfer, it's like we really hope that he's sticking around here because it would be a shame if in the future, let's say, he couldn't play major championships or, we just didn't get that exposure to him that we should, because I think he's one of golf's, rising stars.
Yeah. How old is he?
I want to say 24.
Wow, because I don't know much about him. Obviously, he's from Australia. It was his first major win, right?
Yeah, first major win, and like I said, did win the Players. That's technically not a major, but would be the most important tournament. Okay, he's 28 years old, but still in the golf world, obviously that's very young. And I think the reason, a lot of people are linking him to LIV is also because Greg Norman, who's the head of that, is Australian. So, there obviously is a little bit of a connection there. So we'll see.
Yeah, there was a lot of mullet talk yesterday too.
Yeah, there was a lot of mullet talk because John Daly, was making reference. I just started following him on Twitter, and I saw actually he got around, he stayed in Scotland, after missing the cut, and got around in with the Mannings, as well as I think Eric Church, actually a country singer.
Wow.
So yeah, he played at one of the other courses. So it's still obviously a big name, big celebrity. And I think a lot of people enjoy being around John and hitting the golf course.
Oh, I would relish the opportunity, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the disappointing thing is, we get such a great weekend here at St. Andrews, and it just feels like after this, the hype kind of dies down for golf, because if you look at the remainder of this year's schedule, you have the 3M Open starting on Thursday. That's TPC Twin Cities, but it's just like after a major championship, a lot of guys like to rest, and it's just, sure, you can, win some FedEx Cup points, but I was looking at the field. I think, former Masters champ Hideki Matsuyama was really the only big name in the field. So just with a lot of less big names, it's like no one's even going to watch that tournament. And then after that, you got the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit. That's another kind of ho-hum tournament. And then the last kind of gasp for FedEx Cup points, and because I think it's the top 150 you have to be in to get into the first leg of the FedEx Cup, which is the FedEx St. Jude. So a lot of people who are kind of on that cusp, they'll play in Wyndham. But once again, not a lot of buzz surrounding that tournament. And then TPC Southwind for the FedEx, the BMW Championship this year in Wilmington, Delaware, and then the Tour Championship at East Lake. So I guess the really big buzz is around the Tour Championship, and that's only, I believe, the top 35 guys left in the FedEx Cup point race. So it's just a shame that it's like, as far as really big stage, I guess you could say the Players in March, and then obviously the following month the Masters. But I wish there was just some way, and I know they're working on some fall series, like high stakes events, but there was just some way to add some kind of bigger time, bigger exposure events. Maybe that's what they're doing with these high stake events, but do you kind of agree that they should, I don't know, like make things majors, add majors, or do you think the current format, being that there's only 4, they're kind of spread out, makes them more, more valuable?
Yeah, I kind of enjoy the format now, Brian.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, there's only 4 majors, so it makes them obviously ever so more like tantalizing, not even just for the golfers, but for viewers, for people going to them as well. And, to have them kind of spread out somewhat evenly, I think, it makes it exciting. And I know, like you said, like, golfers rest and whatnot, but let's say there were more majors. Let's say we had like back-to-back majors or whatever. Do you think, there's probably still be golfers resting, no?
Resting for the other tournaments, not the majors. Everybody, relishes the majors.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, then you'll probably have like less of those golfers in those
other
non-majors, like.
The one thing I think they could do, though, especially if it's the highest purse, I think even higher than the majors, the Players Championship, it's like, that should kind of be considered a major, but I guess it's just kind of tradition. We've seen that.
Very traditional sport, Brian.
That's what we've seen before. So just to give a little, we never really talked FedEx Cup points, but just to give everybody an idea, and I think this is why Cam Smith wants to finish this season out. So Scotty Scheffler's in first, 35.56 with points. Cam Smith in second, 23.35, and then Sam Burns, 22.75. Xander Schauffele, 21.53. Rory, 21.04. And the way this works, and I think we've talked about this last year, is the fact that, you have the top 150, and then it goes to 75 and then 35. But for that last event, the Tour Championship at East Lake in Atlanta, it's a staggered kind of start where the guy who leads in points, starts, I think, 2 strokes ahead of everybody else, like -10, and then it goes down from there, -8, -7, -6. This way, so the winner of that tournament wins the FedEx Cup. What are your thoughts, Tony, on that format? Do you think it's a little ridiculous where a guy, just because he didn't have a lot of FedEx Cup points, he would have won the tournament, but since the other guy had 5 strokes on him and he lost? I mean, what do you think of that format?
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit, dude. Like, why? What is the point of that?
Well,
like,
I guess
I understand
the
advantage, but I mean, it's like,
I guess they just want more buzz, like, because it's like, because Tiger, I think it might have been, maybe 2018 or 19, he won the Tour Championship. I think it was 2018, and but he didn't win the FedEx Cup, so they think that it adds more buzz that the guy will win the FedEx Cup. But I just think at the end of the day, I mean, you can't have a tournament where somebody wins it, but they don't because of what happened in the season before that. But just my 2 cents. So we'll see if we get any juice, any buzz, in these tournaments down the stretch. I think, the FedEx will be somewhat interesting, but it'll kind of these other tournaments, not too much until then. But overall, though, a great weekend on the PGA Tour, the Open Championship. And once again, congratulations to Cameron Smith winning his first Open Championship. But we got a lot of talked about in the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Sayonara. Where did that land?
Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right. So what a weekend it was in the world of Major League Baseball, as Matthew chimes in, Tony, if you would.
Nothing like sports port in the morning. He cannot wait for Wednesday, dude.
Let's go.
I know, it's coming up quick.
Are you ready, Tony?
Ready? No, I haven't touched the golf club yet.
But I feel like, though, you're the type of person that at the same time, like, you're somewhat confident that you could put up a representative performance.
No, I am somewhat confident. Yeah,
because I when we played last year, I mean, you held your own. No,
yeah, I think so. But last year was like, I mean, I feel like Mike and I were at the driving range like quite often, at least once a week. I had good practice last year too.
That's true.
It's my first outing, my first time, touching golf club since last summer, I guess, really.
But at the end of the day, it's about the camaraderie.
Oh,
Tony,
yeah, dude.
And we know we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat you, dude.
I mean, dude, I welcome the challenge, Tony. I welcome the challenge, and if that does happen, I mean, I have nothing other to do than tip my hat to you on that. So I'm sure we'll have some good footage from that as well.
Our own St. Andrews, dude.
Our own St. Andrews, the Open Championship. So all of that being said, it was funny because obviously we were watching the Yankees Red Sox game on Friday together. And of course, a very, very unfortunate end to that one where the Yankees had at least twice where the bases were loaded. One time there was nobody out and, they don't end up winning that one. They lose in extra innings because they couldn't get the crucial hit. It really left you with a sour taste in your mouth after losing 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati, after, losing those last 2 games at Fenway Park. It left you with a very unsettling feeling. So, I mean, overall, I guess that would be, they had lost after that game, actually 5 of 6 going into Saturday, which is, not the type of stretch, of course, that you're looking for. And I just wanted to just take a quick look here in terms of Friday. I believe it was Jordan Montgomery on the mound here. So he had given him 6 innings, 3-run ball, 4 Ks. So, a representative effort. But of course, Chapman in a tie game in the 7th, giving up a home run. So, once again, showing that, he can't be trusted. And that was to Bobby Dahlbeck. Bullpen, the rest of the way, I mean, the only run that they allowed was an unearned run by Michael King with the ghost runner, and that was on a wild pitch, which was really, really just tough to take. And the fact that, I mean, I just don't understand in extra innings with a guy, you start the inning basically with a guy on second with nobody out, and how the Yankees, get 2 cracks at that and can't get 1 run in, especially one of the times when the bases were loaded. So that was just, I guess it's just one of those games, but I just feel like, I mean, what would you say for a team, especially at a championship level, like the Yankees? What would you say that your percentage should be in those situations of at least plating 1 run
with the
ghost runner?
With the ghost runner. Oh, okay. I would say like something like 66-70%.
Yeah. And I we'll have to look at the numbers, but I almost think it should be
100%, 1,000%.
Almost.
100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%.
Do you remember what that was about?
No, I can't say I do, Brian.
That was a good one. But yes, it was a terrible loss. Left me with a really, really bad feeling. And Stanton, of course, it is 24th, but you just didn't feel good. I mean, it's that simple. But boy, did the Yankees have an answer. The next 2 days, absolutely torching the Red Sox. And the game that I was at, and let's just say, what a way for Chokri to enter, his Yankee Stadium debut of 14-1, balls flying out everywhere. You look at it collectively, Matt Carpenter and Aaron Judge had 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Which was insane. And the fact, Tony, like I feel like I always find myself at these kind of unique games. And how about I could say I was at the Matt Carpenter curtain call game?
Oh my God, dude,
you don't
that's so
expect
awesome.
that.
No.
You don't expect that. So for the game, Carpenter 2 for 4, obviously those 2 home runs, including a 3-run homer in the first inning. But 7 RBIs for Matty Carpenter. So the place was going nuts. And then, just casually, Aaron Judge hits 2 home runs. So his 32nd and 33rd home runs of the season. So obviously that was big, as well. And I mean, it just, up and down the lineup, you look at it, 12 hits. The only starter not to have a hit was Aaron Hicks. And then, Rizzo also had 2 hits and 3 runs scored as well. So just all in all, just was a really good effort. And Jameson Taillon, there was a lot of questions about him coming into this game. I mean, he had really struggled, but I was saying it was actually good because going into this game, it's like, okay, I mean, he's due to have one, decent start, and he did that. And to the tune of 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. And the stadium was just absolutely electric. And it's just kind of a nice run. This has happened, from time to time. And of course, you're going to have a better winning percentage at home than you would on the road. But I've had these seasons, this makes it 5-0 for me, just in terms of, the games that I've attended at Yankee Stadium. So, of course, it's been a positive experience every time, and, really relish that. So that was it was a great time. And Sunday, I mean, you could basically say they ran it back with a 13-2 victory. And this one, other than, of course, the offense dominating, scoring 13 runs, Garrett Cole had a nice way to kind of close out his first half. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 12 strikeouts. I mean, that's a performance that you want to see out of your ace. So he ends the first half 9-2 with a 3.02 ERA. Licky and Loizaga, pitched the remaining 2 innings. So nice to see Johnny, after struggling mightily, have a scoreless inning there with 2 strikeouts. And just in terms of the scoring in this one, kind of not the usual suspects with the home runs. Gallo actually hits his 11th, but of course it was like 11-2 when he hits it. Of course that's when he hits it. And then Tim LeCastro, who I saw this on Twitter too, Tony. I know you'd find this interesting. First career home run for Tim LeCastro when he was on the Diamondbacks, off of Nestor Cortez Jr.
No kidding.
Playing the Yankees, yeah.
Wow.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And you look at up and down the lineup, DJ LeMahieu, 3 hits. So he finishes the first half hitting 279, 35 RBIs. I think he has 8 home runs, but that contact, he doesn't need to hit another home run all season. If he's going to have these 3-hit games, that's what makes the offense go. Judge seems like he's finally out of that slump. Another 2 hits for him. And then you also had 2 hits from Aaron Hicks, 3 hits for Tim LeCastro. and Matt Carpenter with 3 RBIs as well. So just up and down the lineup, just a great performance. And just what a way for the Yankees to end this first half. I believe now it's 16.5 game lead over the Red Sox, who came into this season with pretty high expectations, making to make the most of possibly Devers and Bogart's last season in Boston, and they find themselves 48-45, only a game and a half up on the Orioles. And then so the Yankees 13 game lead over Tampa, 14.5 over Toronto. So smooth sailing at this point, for the New York Yankees. And just you love ending the first half on a high note. And it's just funny. I saw this stat, just back to Matt Carpenter. I mean, what an unbelievable moment. And I know we've talked about him so many times.
Yeah.
But I saw something and it was like, so the only Yankees to have multiple 7 RBI games in a single season, and it was Ruth, Garrick, DiMaggio, and Matt Carpenter.
That's unbelievable.
So a Yankee legend for life here. I know it's kind of tough to say, Tony, legend. But any sustainability here with Carpenter? I know he's not going to hit 360, but I mean, you think he'll have a productive second half?
Honestly, I would say yeah. I mean, it doesn't really seem like, I'm surprised he got this far, to be honest. So obviously, he knows what he's doing. It doesn't really seem like a fluke. And I think that, I think we'll continue to see this play in the second half of the season.
I mean, it's crazy. And then it's like, so, this was just like a 1-year deal remainder of the season or whatever. But it's like, I mean, on the free agency market, I mean, it's not like he's going to get a 5-year deal for $100 million. But at the same time, I mean, I would think he would be able to possibly get, I don't know, 2 or 3 years for like $45 million.
Yeah, I could see that.
After nobody even wanting them. It's just quite the turnaround. So one other thing. So it's crazy too. Doesn't it seem like he's been on that team a while now, but he doesn't even have 100 at bats. And he's hitting .354 with 13 home runs, slugging .911.
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't even sound real.
It doesn't.
So that being said, Tony, I mean, the Yankees, they close out the first half 64-28. I believe their best start, before the All-Star break in franchise history. And me and you were talking about this before the show. What are your thoughts on, they mentioned, how Soto, turned down 3 contract extensions, including $440 million, the last one over 15 years. What do you think the chances are the Yankees make a run at him here before the trade deadline?
I'm thinking very high. I mean, it's pretty clear that, Soto doesn't really want to stay in Washington. They said too that he's, they're open for trades for him and everything like that. So I think that you're going to see both New York teams, the Mets and the Yankees, make a big push for him because they obviously could both use his bat. Talk about someone who's, young, who knows the game, who plays really well. And then, of course, his play in the outfield as well. I mean, both teams I feel could use a like better outfielders than what they have now. So I really wouldn't be surprised if you see, both teams kind of open up their purses for him.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be tremendous if there's a bidding war between the both teams.
I know.
And as Matthew chimes in, Carpenter is a professional hitter, definitely going to keep it going in the second half. Hell of a ball player, great for the Yankee tradition, especially with the stash.
Love the stash.
Yeah, I mean that's hitting it right on the head. And yeah, we've talked about Soto before, just in terms of what you would be willing to give up and whatnot. And the thing is, it's just one of those situations. I think for both teams, I don't know if you could argue that there is really a point. If we're just talking prospects here, not guys on the major league roster, that are like Alonso or DeGrom or Scherzer, obviously, for like the Mets, and Judge, of course, for the Yankees, and Stanton, Rizzo. But if we're just talking minor leaguers, Tony, given this opportunity, the special season that both teams are having, I mean, is there really even a cutoff point? And especially with the knowing that he's willing to sign, a record-breaking extension.
No, I don't think so at all. Especially we talked about the draft being last night. I think you're going to see a lot of those guys. I feel like being on the trading block for Washington. I mean, they're going to want, Washington's kind of like in a rebuild. at this point. They're going to want a lot of young talent, a lot of prospects, kind of thinking for the future, because they really don't have anything going for them. I mean, they need to fill a lot of positions, and they're going to probably do it with young guys, right?
Yeah. I mean, and as much as it would pay me to do, I mean, I think, with knowing that extension's coming and a left-handed hitter that's only going to be 24 years old this fall, I think Volpe, Peraza, Dominguez, and Medina.
Yeah. You gotta, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Because it just, how long are you just going to just say, oh, well, we got to wait for this guy. We got to wait for this guy.
No.
You got to win right now.
I know,
mean,
dude.
Yankees can't look back from this season.
And Soto's, he's going to help you win for sure, dude. Matt says, Tony, a lot of people were saying he'll sign a big deal with the Mets when he's a free agent, despite if he gets traded somewhere else for now. Wow.
Interesting.
And my mother also says, good morning. I thought you were coming on later. Well, Ma, we squeezed in a sports port.
What do you know?
Right.
Good to have you with us. And yeah, I mean, really, Tony, you could argue, and I think I kind of mentioned this to you before the show as well, for the Yankees specifically here, like, even with no assurances on an extension, the fact that you have him for next season as well, I think you worry about the extension later, or if it was you have to have that kind of pen on paper.
Worry about it later.
Yeah. Because it's just, either way, it's worth it. I mean, you win 2 World Series the next 2 years. I'm going to sign up for that every day. So this is going to be fascinating. I don't know if I can't think of anybody this high profile at this age being available at a trade deadline.
Yeah, no, this age, what'd you say, he was 24?
Yeah, not even yet. He's turning 24 like in the next couple of months. So we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. So, and then also, obviously the Mets, finish off the second half here, Tony. Disappointing result yesterday, but obviously great first half overall. Kind of give us a weekend synopsis, if you would, of the New York Mets.
Yeah, so, it was a 4-game series against the Cubs. They took 3 out of 4. First time they won a series, the Mets, that is, won a series at Wrigley Field since 2013, Brian.
Wow, that's a long time.
Right? It's pretty crazy. When I heard that, I was like, whoa. But as we know, Friday, because of weather, the game was postponed pretty early, so we got the doubleheader on Saturday. And I was pretty stoked for this doubleheader. Nothing like a nice entire Saturday of Met baseball. First game, you had Taijuan Walker pitching against Marcus Stroman, the former Met great, current Met hater. And I don't know if you have, followed Stroman on Twitter at all. But, just like Syndergaard has been doing, he's been bashing the Mets, up until the start. I think his last tweet was like, oh, I'm so happy I got out of there. Like, God is really on my side, or some crazy shit like that. But he went, he didn't pitch a terrible game. He went 4 1/3 innings. I think 1 earned run, right? Maybe like 6 Ks. I think he had something like that. 6 Ks, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 2 walks. He was, fanned a few batters. We know he has those kind of, off-speed pitches. He kind of, results in a lot of ground balls and stuff like that. But we again saw a really good outing from Taijuan Walker. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks. And he's just been so dialed in recently. And it's nice to see it because, I feel like up until last season, about now, I feel like is when he, has a significant drop off at his level of play, just because, it seemed like he just went too hard too soon and couldn't really, handle the longevity of the season. But I think we're seeing that adjustment now. These games, surprisingly pretty low scoring. I know you talked about the Yankees scoring 15, 14 runs, whatever. Most of these were low scoring, and Saturday, both games went to the 11th inning. But in terms of hitting, we won 2-1. Both runs were scored per Pete Alonso, which is nice to see. Alonso, I think, had an RBI single in the 4th inning, and then he hit a sac fly RBI in the 11th to kind of close it out. So obviously more of a pitcher's game, I would say. And I was, really happy with how the bullpen was doing. And I was obviously a little worried, doubleheader, extra innings here, using more of our bullpen. But Seth Lugo had a solid inning in the 7th. 1 inning, 1 K. He had a walk, which, we kind of seen him teetering on his location recently, but no one run, which is great. I mean, this is a close game here. Drew Smith came in for an inning, 2 Ks. Adam Ottavino came in for 2 innings. He pitched the 8th and the 9th really well. He had 3 Ks. His location was locked in. He was giving out some high cheese as well. And then in the 11th, Edwin Diaz, whose ERA is now down to a 1.69. He had two Ks in the 11th. Obviously feeling pressure. This is 1-run ball, ghost runner on second. Places where we've seen Diaz kind of buckle a little bit, but he didn't buckle, he didn't bend, which is great. And he was a big reason, obviously, why they won. So that was the first game. Game 2 was Max Scherzer on the mound, which obviously anytime Max Scherzer on the mound, you're pretty hyped up. I feel like he did not pitch great, honestly. His line was 6 1/3, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 11 Ks. Obviously, getting quite a bit of strikeouts. But I mean, I feel like for some reason, like his strategy was a lot like he was pitching over the middle, but obviously favoring the inside or the outside of the plate. And he was just, immediately getting hit. I mean, first inning, I think the first inning was like maybe like 22 minutes of him just, I think he gave up 2 hits and he was struggling, a lot of 3-2 counts. And it seemed like, maybe his just strategy in terms of his pitch selection wasn't really there. Of course, like I said, 11 Ks is good. And limiting those runs to only 2, but that's because he had great defense behind him. Honestly, like he let up a lot of hits, and he didn't really seem like himself, because normally pre-game he's like pacing in the bullpen, he's fucking not talking to anyone. Like he didn't really seem, I suppose, maybe as dialed in. He was just kind of sitting around, not really being his manic, crazy person self that he is kind of leading up to these games. But nonetheless, we did kind of have another victory here. We won 4-3 against the Cubs. Hitting for us kind of started pretty early in the 3rd inning. Lindor, ground out the 3rd, but Marte was able to score. Marte, back from the IL, isn't missing a beat. I mean, he was one of our best hitters this weekend. Getting on base a lot, scoring a lot. I mean, it's really impressive to see, him coming off an injury, a guy his age. With that groin injury too, something that would definitely linger most players, let alone older players as well. But he's just hitting full stride right now, which is great to see. Escobar had a homer. Lindor scored again. This was pretty cool actually. Actually no, this was yesterday. Never mind. But Lindor scored. They've been doing this. I guess they kind of did do it Saturday too, but they've been, I guess, doing the. So like pretty much like Lindor will kind of like fake steal a base while someone's on 3rd and try and, have the runner from 3rd steal home as, Lindor gets thrown out at 2nd or whatever, just kind of giving up that out. And they did that twice. They did it yesterday. They did it Saturday. And which they did this in the 10th inning. I mean, this is how they scored in the 10th. And to kind of steal a run like that at that point in the game is huge. And then on top of that, I mean, I feel like, the Cubs defense had a couple errors. Suzuki, right fielder. It is Suzuki. I think while Lindor was trying to steal 2nd, he threw a ball. It was nowhere near second base, dude. Like it was absolutely just airmailed it. And the Mets, took advantage of at that point and were able to score in the 10th here. And then it was Johan Lopez who was from the Diamondbacks earlier this season. We picked him up, kind of closed out the game for him. And then now we move to Sunday. This is what our loss. We lost 3-2. David Peterson on the mound. Peterson looked great, honestly. I was really surprised kind of at his performance. A little bit of a lackluster defense behind him, but Peterson went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, 8 Ks, no earned runs. And I'll tell you why he had no earned runs, because I want to say this was definitely in the 5th. Yeah, it was in the 4th. Sorry. So trying to remember here. Pearson's going through the 4th inning and he's getting into a little bit of trouble with the runners on 1st and 2nd. I think there was 1 out, and I forget who was at the plate. I want to say I think it was Contreras, because they were talking about how he has one of the highest strikeout rates in the league. Yeah, it was definitely Contreras. Contreras hits like a hard ground ball to 3rd base. Escobar's there. Picks it up barehanded nicely. But then, obviously he knows he has to go. I forget who's on 1st, but it was a quick player running to 2nd. And he knew, Escobar, that he has to get rid of this quick double play. And he had the opportunity to but he bobbles the ball, drops it. Everyone's safe. Bases loaded. So what would have been, an inning-ending double play led to a bases loaded situation with one out, putting the Mets in a tough position. At this point, it was 2-1. And then also the inning before that, poor base running by Lindor. We had whatever, it was like a hit to like left center field. I forget the young player in left field for them. Oh, it's Velasquez. Young guy, very good outfielder. And Lindor's on second. He tries to stretch this single from second to home plate here. And he gets rifled, thrown out at home, end of the inning for them. And what would have been, runners at the corners with still an out to play around with, he gets thrown out at home. And instead of trying to get that insurance run, it's just 2-1. And then this inning comes up with Escobar bobbling it, bases loaded. Pearson comes out. And then, they ended up scoring. They ended up scoring 2 runs. Then the Mets are down 3-2. And it was just, a really tough turn of events. Just because, what looked like the Mets sweeping the Cubs, just because of a couple, a bad base running decision and then a bad infield play just kind of compounded, their own mistakes and put them in a tough position. And the Mets, unfortunately, weren't able to kind of, I guess, recover from that. Drew Smith came in, and he just wasn't pitching well at all. And I guess maybe because of the back-to-back, because I feel like, Drew Smith really hasn't been, I guess, like stretched out in terms of, pitching a lot. He's still one of those bullpen guys that we don't have really much confidence in, but he was just leaving balls over the middle of the plate, getting hit up on. And it was really, obviously putting the Mets in a tough position because then, Drew Smith I don't even think lasted the whole inning when he came in. We had to take him out, put Lugo in. And of course, we know Lugo in back-to-back situations too, not having to pitch, kind of a little bit extra. It just put it definitely put more stress on the bullpen. And it kind of did start with that Lindor, bonehead play of trying to take home. I mean, he was out by a mile, Brian. So a couple of tough decisions. Maybe Mets were maybe Lindor was a little too cocky on the base running. And obviously Escobar was, not thinking when he bobbled that ball at all. He was just thinking, get rid of it. Didn't really watch it into his glove. So it was just like, tough spots that kind of put us in. And then, of course, in the ninth, we really weren't able to get anything going. JD Davis pinched hit for Mazika, which I don't know. I thought was kind of a bad decision on Buck's part, just because we've seen Mazika in big spots come up huge. But JD Davis was up and I think he struck out. And it was a tough game because it was so freaking windy in Chicago, Windy City, we know. But literally any ball that was hit high, no matter how hard you hit it, the wind was blowing it down. There was no home runs. I mean, it was almost impossible to hit a home run ball there. So, I mean, it was a tough game overall, but great series, taking 3 out of 4 from the Cubs. I mean, you still go into the All-Star break, feeling pretty damn good, dude.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you would have liked to finish it off, but I think it's just one of those things where, as much as it feels like that's a game like you just should win, you pitched well, you just needed to score 4 runs, but I feel like it's like, kind of quoting like John Sterling, it's like that's baseball, Susan. Like it's just you're not though, even though it feels like you should. You're just not going to win those games every time, and that's how you lose 50 to 60 games, like every team does at least every season.
No, yeah, totally right. It was just tough, dude, because with someone like Peterson on the mound, his backdoor slider was looking so nice. He was fooling batters, and as my mom put it, after Escobar kind of bobbling that ball, he had to throw 22 extra pitches in that inning. It killed him, honestly. And they were tired, as my mom said. I was watching the game with my mom yesterday. Like I said, the doubleheader yesterday, both games with the extra innings too. They definitely were a little tired, dude. Yeah.
I mean, so obviously it's nice to get some rest here. And do they resume on Friday? Is it Friday? I know the Yankees have a makeup on Thursday.
Hold on,
in Houston, so that'll be interesting. Right out of the gate.
What's Friday's
in
date?
Houston. Friday. Let's see. So 20th. So 22nd.
I don't think so. 22nd.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at their schedule here. July Cubs Friday the 22nd. Oh yeah, Padres Friday
Padres.
the 22nd.
Okay, so they get a few days off here.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be, well deserved and definitely needed. So they go into the All-Star break, 2.5 game lead, over Atlanta. So I just think that right there, despite them playing, some pretty good baseball here, 58-35. I mean, anytime before the break, you can be over 20 games over 500.
Yeah, it's
Clearly,
great.
you're having a good year. It just unfortunately the Braves have just been so hot. So you want to just get every edge and every advantage, that you can. So I mean, I know it's hard to kind of put a finger on it, Tony, but what's your prediction here? I mean, at the end of the day, who's getting Soto? Is it the Mets? Is it the Yankees? Or the Mets getting a different hitter? I mean, what do you foresee happening?
I think the Mets are getting Soto.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it going to be like the top 6 prospects?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be probably Alvarez. I wouldn't be surprised if it was that shortstop that they grabbed yesterday too. Just because what?
No, I was going to say, and they had who was the other pick that they had? I know we were just talking about this.
The
right?
other catcher you're talking about?
Oh, okay, catcher.
Yeah,
So
another
they had
catcher.
2 first-round picks yesterday.
So I think they grabbed a catcher, and obviously with the idea to get rid of him or Alvarez and still have another catcher, and then obviously they drafted a shortstop, which they're not going to need a really shortstop for a while, I feel. So I think they would get rid of him and that third base prospect. There's an outfielder who's pretty touted. And then that's really it. Maybe we'll give up like JD Davis too, or like.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty much like, especially if we're talking about active roster, you would pretty much give up everybody short of Alonso, Diaz, and DeGrom and Scherzer.
Basically, I guess. I wouldn't want to give up McNeil, honestly, either.
But I mean,
I know if
you
it was
would though. If that's
wouldn't
even
really
though that would
want
be
to.
odd that would be the thing that they need.
Yeah, it would be odd. I feel like they would maybe may ask for a pitcher too. Who knows?
Right. So obviously Peterson,
maybe
he
or,
might be shoved out the door.
I know, which is tough.
And speaking of the draft, I was watching. I haven't really ever watched a lot of MLB draft, but I have to say I did like it. They did have it at LA Live, and I believe part of it's still going on today. But they had it at LA Live, right across from what was formerly known as the Staples Center. They had some of the vet guys that used to play for the teams. It was nice seeing Fred McGriff. I don't know if you saw that he announced one of the Braves picks. I hadn't seen him in a while. Rick Dempsey, the former Oriole great. But for the first round, Rob Manfred did all the picks, and I think there's going to be a ton of talent coming from this draft. And I know with baseball more than any other sports, how long is it going to take to get there, this and that. But you look at some of these names here. The first overall pick, Matt Holliday's son, he goes to the Orioles. Seems like he, is going to be a pretty good player. And anytime you have that genetic link, that's always going to, go a long way. So Orioles luck out here. Obviously they're already over 500. Then you bring in a guy whose dad, was very good on the major league level in Matt Holliday. So I think that was, a home run for them. And it'll be interesting to see if, they take advantage of being in that spot. And then also Drew Jones going to Texas, son of Andrew Jones. So they had a watch party. Andrew Jones was in the background saying how excited he was. But a guy who actually, I guess for a while they were saying was a consensus number 1 overall pick.
Drew Jones?
Yeah. And so he goes 2 to Texas. So, I mean, I think, that's a home run for Texas. Obviously all that money they spent last year, in free agency. So to be able to land him. And then what was your thoughts on 3rd overall pick, Kumar Rocker to, I believe, the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, dude. I'm not surprised, honestly. I don't know, dude. That was like a bonehead play that the Mets did with him. I think it was worth giving him a shot. I think he's going to be a good pitcher, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the Diamondbacks, I guess, right?
Oh, actually, wow.
Was Diamondbacks?
No. So Diamondbacks got Drew Jones. So I guess that means that the Rangers got Kumar Rocker.
Look it up.
Let's see.
Rangers
third. Okay, yeah, so that's what it was. So had the teams mixed up. But supposedly, I guess he was playing some independent ball and hitting near 100. So it seems like he's recovered. Only 22 years old. So obviously, I think they were saying on the broadcast like that he might turn out to be a better player because of this adversity that he faced dealing with that last year with the Mets.
Oh, I bet, dude.
He didn't know what was going to happen, and for him to go from 10 to 3, he has to feel pretty good there. This draft was littered with guys in the first round with a connection, to the dads playing in the big leagues. Also, Carl Crawford's son was also drafted by the Phillies as well. So there's, 3 guys that their fathers played in the major leagues. So you like to see stuff like that. And as far as the Yankees, it seemed like they might have nabbed a pretty good one. I know baseball draft predictions are all different. So I guess this guy was projected more like a second rounder, but they do go with Spencer Jones at number 25. So outfielder from Vanderbilt.
Oh, it's a big dude.
Yes, 6'7".
Oh, he's from Vanderbilt too?
Yeah, from Vandy. And I guess he had the hardest exit velocity last year in college, 6'7", left-handed hitter. So, I mean, of course, just from a size perspective, power perspective, a lot of Aaron Judge comparisons.
Right. So you think Judge is leaving then? Not.
No, you can never, like what you were saying about Lindor and the Mets shortstop or whatever.
No way, dude.
But also that you can't think about that with the Major League Draft because it takes so long for those guys to get there. And one easy thing to think about is like, okay, by the time he's there, maybe Lindor needs to move over to second. Or
very true.
Over to second. So you can't.
Well, you could say. I mean, I'm sure this guy might be a good trade prospect for Soto.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I definitely tend to agree with that kind of drafting philosophy, specifically for baseball. You don't go by position.
No.
Of course, like the Angels last year took all pitchers. That I kind of understood just because of the problem that they've had, in developing arms, of course. And then the Yankees' second pick here, they took Drew Thorpe from Cal Poly. And that was the 61st overall pick. I guess he's got like the best changeup in college, they said last year, and has been working on his strikeout stuff. So we'll see what happens. And then one other note here, I guess Jones last year at Vandy hit 370 with 12 homers, 60 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. So pretty good numbers. Obviously, we got quite some time to see, what transpires there. And, Mets, 2 first rounders getting that catcher and a shortstop. So like you said, it'll be interesting to see if that's in a Soto package. Do you think the Soto deal, whoever gets him, is going to be done like on deadline day? Or do you think we could conceivably see it as soon as like before the second half starts?
I don't know. I would think there's so many teams that would go after him, like with so many different types of deals that I feel like it would be up to the deadline.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously wanting that king's ransom,
right,
which they obviously deserve. So, we'll see what happens. And obviously, no games tonight. We got the home run derby, but just wanted to update. If I could just pull this up for 1 second here.
Just one second here.
Our picks. I had a tough day, Friday with the picks. I only went 1-3. You went 3-1. So that leaves you at 13-6, me at 10-7. So you're doing pretty well there. And what we could do, Tony, since we don't have any actual games tonight, I wanted to say, let's just pick every matchup of the home run derby. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I like that.
So I guess the first one we'll start out with would be the number 1 seed, Schwarber versus Pujols.
Yeah.
Obviously this at Dodger Stadium, All-Star game tomorrow. Right. So we'll start there for you, Tony. Pujols or Schwarber?
I mean, I gotta go Schwarber.
All right, so Tony goes Schwarber.
Are we going heads up here or what?
Yeah. Every pick, and then we'll just do win and loss based on how we did our matchups, and then obviously if it doesn't happen, then it's not a matchup. But for mine here, I'm gonna go Pujols just because we've seen the number 1 seeds lose first round, and I know Pujols seems washed, but played with the Dodgers last year. I would imagine he's somewhat familiar with the park. So give me Pujols there in a big upset.
That's bold, Brian.
It is bold, but Tony, sometimes you have to do stuff like that,
Yeah, do you?
Well, you think it's honestly that like insane, or honestly?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
All right. I mean, just was asking, Tony. So let's see what we got here. So so we got Pete Alonso and he's going against the 7 seed. So where is that?
The 7th seed, is it not Seager?
No,
No.
Seager's a 3 seed.
Seager's a 3 seed, 7th seed.
This thing is like out of order, of course. Is it Jose Ramirez? No, he's a 5.
No.
Soto's a 4. Julio Rodriguez is a 6. Corey Seager is a 3rd. Acuna is the 7th. So we got Pete Alonso versus Ronald Acuna.
Do you want my pick?
Yeah.
Give me the Mets. Come on, dude.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna take you head on here. I'm gonna take Acuna.
Sure, dude.
You know, I mean, listen, credit where credit's due. Alonso's had a great first half as well as, performed well in these derbies in the past. But we've seen, no matter what we're talking about, it's tough that third time to go for 3 in a row. A lot of people struggle with it. So we'll see. I think it'll be a great battle, though. I mean, Acuna is one of the more exciting younger players in the league.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's a 7th seed.
Yeah. I guess it's just based on the amount of home runs.
Yeah. And he's, missed a lot, I suppose, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So now we got the 3 seed, Corey Seager, facing off the 6 seed Julio Rodriguez, the hotshot rookie for the Mariners, who, by the way, I mean, we might have to start talking more Mariners. 14-game winning streak, Tony, the end of the first half.
I think first team in MLB history to go into the All-Star break, 14-game winning streak.
I believe so, and it's their longest winning streak since the 2001 Seattle Mariners.
Well, I mean, how do you not go with Rodriguez on this one?
I know. So you think it's going to be close, or?
Yeah, I think so. But Seager, the late addition to the home run derby. I don't know, dude. I feel like he's just not hyped.
Yeah,
give me Rodriguez.
And I know he struggled.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before he was in the derby. I'm going to go with Rodriguez as well. I feel like the young guys dominate. The young upcoming stars dominate this derby historically. And then let's see. Do we have one more? Oh, yeah. Soto at 4 going up against Jose Ramirez at number 5. What are your thoughts here, Tony? I think Soto struggled last time.
Yeah, Soto did struggle last time. But showing his arm off.
Said, so that would, advance everybody to the second round. So I guess how are we going to do this here?
I mean, you have Pujols and Soto and Acuna and Rodriguez, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So I mean, how do you?
And then you have Schwarber. Okay. So we'll start. You could just kind of take it the rest of the way.
I'll finish it out.
Second round.
Okay, dude.
Give me your second round.
Second round.
And winners.
I'll take Soto in the upset against Schwarber.
Okay.
And I'll take, obviously, Alonso against Rodriguez.
Okay. And then I am going to go, I'm going to definitely take
Soto over Pujols.
Soto over Pujols. And I'm going to go Acuna over Rodriguez. I think Acuna is special.
Wow.
So then that is on to the finals. So you have Soto Alonso. I have Soto Rodriguez.
Dude, give me Alonso.
Or Soto Acuna, my bad. But
whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Give me Alonso beating Soto, the 3-peat. Absolutely, dude.
And
give me the Mets.
Legend. For my winner here, I'm going to go with future Yankee Juan Soto.
The legend.
Hopefully he goes first because I think he'll hit 35 home runs in the final round.
The legend.
Absolute. Jesus, Tony. Putting on an absolute clinic. So we'll see. Should be fun for sure.
I'm pumped, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and do you think Dodger Stadium, despite the kind of hefty dimensions, will play well, where we'll see a lot of balls flying out? Or
yeah, I think we will.
So time will tell. I think it's 8:30 by the time that this gets underway. So definitely, look forward to recapping that tomorrow, and then we'll have the All-Star game on Tuesday, and then before we know it, second half will be starting Thursday. So kind of a quick All-Star break turnaround, and 1 week later than usual. So kind of a little bit of a different feel this year.
Michael C. Theophil checking in.
Michael, the legend, best sports show out there.
Yeah, Mikey,
we couldn't do it without you, bud. Let me just see here too. I just wanted to kind of see if we had any developments in the other two.
My mom says my birthday is 1 week away.
1 week away.
It is 1 week away.
So there we go. I just wanted to see if we had any other.
There we go.
Tony, I mean, I feel like you should know this more so than me. Any other developments in hockey? I haven't heard anything since middle of last week.
No, not really. What do you want?
So
Got
you don't,
nothing.
you think it's possible, if anything, like anything major, it would be more of a trade for the Rangers than signing somebody, or
I think so, but also Matthew Gabriel with a gripe here. You guys didn't get that excited when I chimed in.
we always get
come
excited
on,
for you,
Matthew.
bud. We always get excited.
I can't wait
for
to
you.
see you, Matthew.
Yeah, we cannot wait. Wednesday will be legendary.
Well,
so
I hope
know,
I see you before Wednesday.
Well,
it's Monday.
Tony, like, talk about out of context here. I think we went the whole show with that one argument, and then you make a comment like that. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'm kind of I'm out for Wednesday.
Unbelievable.
Oh my god, too funny.
Oh, don't be spiteful, Matthew.
And a couple of things here just to finish up. I guess we were just talking baseball, and I just saw some ESPN notification. What do you think about a lot has been made? He just made a start actually at Yankee Stadium about Luis Castillo going to the Yankees. I mean, would still require a haul, probably one of those big names that I just talked about, but just one and then some kind of mid-level prospects. I mean, if you were the Yankees, would you make that happen, or would you put all your efforts towards Soto?
Oof, that's tough, dude. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I would be picking Soto, I suppose. But I mean, Luis Castillo, I honestly love him for the Mets too. I think the Mets should pursue him because he's a workhorse, and I think he's a phenomenal starting pitcher. He could definitely help both teams. Because I think the Yankees, there's been a couple showings of some blimps in their starting rotation. But again, if you had to choose between the two, I mean, you got to go Soto, Brian. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you do, and I guess I would just feel like because what's it called? Because it's like with Castillo too. I mean, he's kind of been up and down the last couple of years. I know he's hitting his stride this year, so I feel like if we're gonna get rid of these guys that we've been talking about for the last couple of years, we have to be getting something definitive, and I don't think there's anything more definitive than Juan Soto. And I don't know. Championship level team. I mean, really, like, is Castillo a 3-starter?
I think it could be, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But he's not a 2 or a 1.
No.
And then you think about the Yankees playoff rotation. I mean, how would you slot it right now? And let's say that Severino is healthy.
Okay, so I would do obviously Cole, and then Nestor, and then Sevy.
Okay, and then if you had to go to a 4th starter.
Monty.
Okay,
yeah.
So Tyone gets left in the dust.
Yeah.
Was it 10 victories?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I tend to agree with you there. And then as far as the Mets, is Bassett locked in at 3, or is it Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett? Is it DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett?
I think, obviously, seeing how DeGrom is, it'd be DeGrom, Scherzer, Walker, I think.
Walker, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, but you really think like you're confident though this second half of the season that Walker's gonna outperform Bassett?
Honestly, yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
I think Walker looks way different than he did last season. He's definitely lost some weight. He looks like he's in better shape. And I think, him being tired was a big reason to his downfall last season.
And then if they did get Castillo, though, would he automatically be 3 or?
Yeah.
But there's trepidation.
Yeah, there's some trepidation, dude.
But I mean, am I overplaying this though? Was Castillo kind of like mediocre the last couple of years before this year?
He definitely wasn't as good as this year, that's for sure. But again, I mean, like you said, it seems like he is hitting this type of stride where he's been good seemingly all year, I feel. So I mean, I think there's a lot of value to him. He has shown that he has good stuff, that he can consistently throw some good stuff. And whatever he's worked on, I feel like in prior years, I mean, it's been going for him right now. So I think you're going to see him, more years to come pitching like this.
Yeah. So just looking at, his numbers, I mean, I guess you could say before this year, in terms of like a full season, his best one, 2019, making the All-Star team, which he did this year as well. 15-8, 190 innings, 226 strikeouts. Last year, only 8-16, 3.98, 192 strikeouts, 187 innings. So better than I thought, actually, because really, I mean, just one season, 2018, 4.30, but career ERA, 3.62 in 785 innings. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess he is, representative, but also the fact that he is 29, he's not 25.
Right.
I think I would let the Mets take him, honestly, but just because, like I said, I don't want to give up those guys. And you wouldn't have any trepidation if, let's say it was the 2 first-round picks from this year's draft and Alvarez for Castillo.
I mean, yeah, of course I would, because I feel like those were picks you could throw towards Soto.
So you're kind of saying one of the top 3 prospects and then some mid-level guys would be okay for you?
Yeah, definitely.
What if they want Jeff McNeil?
For Castillo?
No, not straight up. Like a prospect,
Plus
a middle-level
McNeil.
prospect, and then Jeff McNeil.
Yeah. Do we have Soto already?
No. Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow. All right.
Jeff McNeil's
All right.
batting really well, dude.
No, I know. It's really, though, when but just when you're in these spots as you are with the Yankees and the Mets, it's just it's really such a fine line.
I know, it really is.
You don't want to mortgage the future, but at the same time, you want to take advantage of the opportunity.
Correct.
And I'm just trying to think, like, is there anybody else really that kind of a big name there's some chatter about? Have you heard anything else?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did. I forget his name. It wasn't a big name though.
Reliever, starter, hitter.
I forget. I think it was a hitter.
Geez, yeah, I'm trying to think of just like some of the bad teams, and I don't know, like maybe like you know what would be underrated, and I feel like he would become discounted. Maybe he doesn't want to leave, but like what about the Mets picking up Sal Perez to be their catcher?
Is he really that great though?
I mean, he broke the record last year for catchers home runs.
Right, but what's he doing right now?
Let's see. I haven't heard his name like all season. I guess he's actually on the IL currently, but 211 with 11 home runs, 34 RBIs after going 48 in 121 last year.
That's great, dude.
So I guess that you're steering away.
Yeah.
I feel like you're doing some research right now.
No, yeah. I think I'm trying to remember who it was. I remember they said they were interested in Nelson Cruz.
Okay.
Contreras, I think, was the other guy.
Now Wilson on the Cubs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be a big fan of Wilson, honestly.
Really?
I think he strikes out the second most in the league, I feel. Not that I feel. He does. He strikes out the second most in the league. By the way, do you know who strikes out the most in the league?
No. Who?
Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Aaron. Yeah, what did say? Aaron Judge.
Well, I mean,
No.
that would be a ha moment.
No, it would be. I would have said that, at the top of the show. I would have said that.
So there are some guys. I was just looking it up. So you did mention Contreras. Obviously, we've talked about Castillo, but Andrew Benintendi for the Royals. I'm not a huge fan of him. I just feel like where's the production?
Yeah,
he's almost 30 years old.
I heard the Mets possibly pursuing him, but it said that they didn't. Like, what I read up on him, it was like, no, like forget it, dude. Because it is like what I feel like so many teams were talking about getting him, and then they're just like, you know what, he's not that great.
Right, exactly. I mean, I could see, you just want to project like with Yankee Stadium, for instance, because they've been linked to him in the past as well. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to take that chance to give up some decent prospects for a guy that hasn't shown that he could, consistently do it at a high level.
Yeah.
And then there's Josh Bell, the first baseman for Washington. I guess he's having like an okay year. Obviously, first base not a position in need, for the Yankees or the Mets, but any team really in contention. I mean, I wouldn't see why they would be at all opposed, to acquiring someone like him, because he has shown in the past that, I mean, he can be a pretty big time hitter.
Josh Bell, that
Yeah.
is? Yeah, I honestly do like Josh Bell, but again, like you said, I mean, the Mets and the Yankees don't need him, so. Does he doesn't play anything else besides first base, right?
I feel like maybe in the past he played outfield, but I think he's packed on a couple too many. So
yeah, he's a pretty big dude.
He would have to be designated hitter. Some other names on this. So this is CBSSports.com. Tyler Mahle from the Reds. I guess his numbers aren't that great this year, but he's pitched well in the past. So there's a lot of times, like unfortunately last year, the Yankees with Andrew Heaney, just kind of going off kind of, I don't know, analytics and stuff,
Right.
not over ERA. So
Wasn't he pitching well this season before he got injured?
Malley?
No,
Or Heaney. Yes, but very limited action.
Yeah.
And then they also list Trey Mancini, but I'm not sure. He's gonna get traded just because
Baltimore.
Baltimore's doing well, and
Yeah.
I just think they want to take advantage of this season, anything that they can to get into the playoffs.
How old is Mancini?
Believe he's 30.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. Oh, but you're just saying for the better good, you might as well just trade him.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's got to be a big leader in the clubhouse.
I know, definitely. But now they have two really good. They have that catcher, right? And then they just got that other prospect we were talking about.
The guy that they drafted first overall. Jackson Holiday, it might be.
Yeah.
I think his name.
Something like that.
See the hair on him. Talk about mullets.
Yeah.
Another guy we're forgetting, Tony, Frankie Montas.
Oh.
So, he's kind of had an up and down year, but has pitched well. So, I mean, you would imagine, he'll be sought after. They're listing your guy, Sean Murphy, the catcher for the A's.
Oh, get out of town.
Good framer with a Gold Glove award to his name.
Yeah, my ass.
Consistently hit for OPS in the 90s or better.
You saw him against the Yankees.
Yeah, trash.
Come
the whole
on,
organization
dude.
is trash.
Literally so bad.
And then the last guy that they're listing, David Peralta. And they mentioned the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Cardinals as a fit.
Really?
But get out of town with that.
Who is this?
He's an outfielder for the.
No. Who's where are you reading this from?
CBSSports.com.
Oh, CBS Sports.
Yeah. But it was the first article that popped up. But it's funny. I mean, most of the time, I feel like we kind of get more moves that are unexpected than going because sometimes be a quiet deadline. Not a good free agency class, and then this guy, that guy. Oh, this guy we didn't even expect to be traded. He was just traded a huge package.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, especially with the extra wild card, I mean, you think pretty busy deadline compared to other years, or
absolutely, dude.
So
especially because I feel like there's so many like contending teams too.
Exactly.
Who are gonna want that extra leg to get to the playoffs,
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And another team that comes to mind, I mean, Seattle Mariners. I mean, coming off this 14-game winning streak, you'd imagine they'd want to improve the team. I would think they would want to pick up a hitter like Josh Bell. That wouldn't be a bad name for them to go after.
Yeah, you're right.
And I just want to see here kind of, just before we wrap it up, any obvious kind of, teams with guys that could be useful here. I mean, do you think being 20 and a half out, not the Mariners, but the Angels would trade Syndergaard? 1-year contract?
Yeah, I could see that.
Imagine if he goes to New York.
The Mets?
No, he can't go back.
He would kill himself, honestly.
But I think he would be pumped up to play for the Yankees.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't.
You want him?
I mean, I guess if it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, it can't be anything crazy, dude.
But I guess we'll have to see in terms of that. And then really other than that, I mean, I don't think the Rockies will bail this early on Chris Bryant. I mean, that was a pretty big free agency contract. What about like the Giants with Rodon, 12 and a half games back in the West, get a king's ransom. I mean, he's pitched well. He's been injured in the past. I think he's dealing with something right now. I mean, do you think it's just they think they could still make a wild card push here?
I'm just looking at the rest of the division too. Yeah, I don't know. I think they would get rid of him. Especially for the wild card in the National League. I mean,
and I think they could get a haul. I mean, the Yankees and Mets, I would think, would be interested in him as well.
Definitely.
And then also, I just happen to think of how about Brian Reynolds on Pittsburgh? I think that's a top trade target.
Oh
The
yeah,
outfielder.
definitely.
I think a variety of teams, could use him. And then, I know it's like the first year of a big contract to get again, but what about Javi Baez? I know he hasn't looked great, but maybe, a team or two thinks, him going to a contending situation would kind of energize him.
Yeah, we talked about it. He needs like some good players around him in order for him to be successful. And Detroit is just not the spot for him.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Not the Mets either, though.
You think the Phillies hang in there with their group?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, they're making a push for the wild card right now.
Yeah, 48
Yeah.
49 and
43.
43, 3-game winning streak going into the
Mhm.
break. And I just wanted to see currently the wild card standings here. So right now, the top 3 in the American League: Tampa, Seattle, Toronto. And you have below them, you have the Red Sox, the Guardians, the Orioles, the White Sox, all within 4 games of that third wild card spot. So obviously all of them in contention. And then in the National League side, you have the Braves, the Padres, the Phillies actually are tied with the Cardinals for that third spot. And then you have the Giants a half game back, and then kind of separated it as 5.5 back are the Marlins, 6.5 the Rockies, and 9 games the Diamondbacks. So not as many teams in the National League are in the playoff race.
No.
But that being said, Tony, it is going to be quite a exciting, second half of this season.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited. You got me pumped up, Brian.
And I know, the Derby will be fun tonight. All-Star
Yeah.
game never was really my thing. I mean, you
No,
want to see
never.
your guy get up. So I'm sure you want to see
Yeah.
Alonso. I want to see Judge, this and that, or Stanton, obviously. But other than that, it doesn't really do it for me.
No.
And then a couple of days off. I mean, kind of tough to take, Tony. I mean, for you, Wednesday and Thursday off after that, and really Tuesday's an off day as well because you're not really interested in the game. I mean,
Yeah, basically. And, it gives me some time to focus on my golf.
yeah, that is true. So Wednesday couldn't come on a better day. Nothing on.
Literally, dude.
So yeah, really, really looking forward to that. But as we come to a close here, Tony, anything on the way out you have?
Let's go Pete Alonso, huh?
Yeah. Yes. Should be a fun Derby.
I'm so pumped for the Derby.
And let's see what happens with Soto. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But other than that, of course, we would really like to thank everybody for tuning in today and joining the conversation. And we encourage everyone to continue to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as check out the archives on our YouTube page. And then as well as the summer collection at downtimetv.com. Everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the Derby, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.